Hello, it is currently Thursday, and we are on demand and ready to take the week down through the rest of, it's Thursday. It's Wednesday, isn't it? Isn't it? Is it Wednesday?
It is your day ahead.
No, I'm telling you, I'm productive. I am productive. I just finished looking at all the emails for Thursday. That's why I'm like in Thursday. Okay, so it's Wednesday. It's Hump Day. And I'm apparently very, very far ahead. And I would like some congratulations now. Say, Shanda, congratulations for being ahead in your life. Thank you. Come on, I want to see some love, a little bit of love. Come on, you guys are saying good job, Shanda. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Okay, now thank you, Aaron, Tammy, Gia. Thank you, Zena. Okay, so what are we talking about today? So thank God I didn't start on tomorrow's content. We're actually talking about your annual plans and what constitutes a smart plan and what actually puts you in a position where maybe you're working the wrong thing and you're going to end up repeating some patterns. So on Monday, for those of you who get Monday pocket coaching from me, I have a pocket coaching coming out on Monday about some things that I did today to look at what patterns am I already seeing seep into 2024 that are patterns that are not going to work for me. Do you guys get what I'm saying? So if you think right now, a key indicator is how are your days feeling? How are your days feeling? Because your feelings are connected to your actions and your actions come out of your feelings, right? That's why you have some of the top performers in the world like, ignore your feelings, because it's just impossible. Like, how do you tell somebody how to feel? You can't, right? You have a bad night's sleep. You don't feel so good. You have somebody who you get in an argument with, and whether you were right or wrong, it doesn't feel good. And so there's this really real coaching around having to shut down your emotions to be able to keep going, right? Did anybody end up watching, you may or may not caught this on demand session, but I shared with people to go watch Just 1 Mile with Chad, the runner. Just 1 Mile. And he says something in that documentary, which is awesome. He's like the nicest guy on the planet, right? Like this guy is he is seriously a really, really nice human being. And you can tell he is in the documentary. But like there's this guy in the race that he goes so all in. And I'm so well aware that so many people will think this is too intense, but that's exactly why you won't be financially free. Because you've got it wired. Intensity is like a bad thing. And here's the thing, you will struggle no matter what. You're either going to struggle with or struggle without. Maybe you've heard that before, but I don't know if it's really sunk in, right? I have emails coming out tomorrow, and then there's some statistics on the labor board and with Elon Musk, who, by the way, is coming to Puerto Rico. So glad I bought a place here. So glad I bought a place here, right? And so just like the skyrocketing is off the charts. But they did this study with Elon and a bunch of really top CEOs. And you're a CEO. If you're watching this, you're probably a CEO or you're a C-level executive, or you are a salesperson in an organization, which is like network marketing, something like that. So you're still running your own show. You're making your own decisions, right? And so this study is on business owners and CEOs or CEOs, not business owners, because CEOs might not be business owners. Okay. But they are running the ship. Okay. And so the study shows that the average CEO, their work in a day is like 9.9 hours a day on average. That's not when they're working an insane project, right? Like it's just on average. And they work, I think it's 2.7 hours a day, even on vacation. And I tell you this because I am the girl that says take flex time. I'm the girl that says, like I have directly correlated my income connected to my flex time, directly. 100%. I make way more money when I take 5 days off at the end of the month and I don't work the last week of the month. Hands down. It is undisputable. If I look at what my life looked like when I didn't take flex time and what it looks like when I do, it is undeniable, the tracking. Data doesn't lie. So like when you look at how do I get those hours in? I start work, y'all. Like I am up very early and I start work, well, let's see, about 5 that I would say I'm like really into it. So 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm getting in 11 hours every day and I'm done at 4. And I get very resentful if somebody on my team messages me after 4. I get super, super resentful, right? And if it happens more than once, I think they're incapable. And they are, because I say it over and over and over again, manage your life, right? Manage your workflow, manage your life. You're incapable to me if you keep breaking the rules to get your work done. It means you can't figure out how to get it done. And getting it done doesn't always mean we are the ones to do it. Right? On our team, I say, go to Upwork, go to Hardcore Works, go somewhere and contract somebody in to help you in those times that you are in a push, right? You've got to figure, I don't care how something gets done, I care that it gets done. So we're going to hot seat some people on the on-demand mastermind. And if you want to be on the on-demand mastermind, go to getgoodcoaching.com, getgoodcoaching.com. Okay. And so I'm going to hot seat these guys and I'm going to be looking for profitability, scalability. They're going to be looking probably for smart plans, smart strategy, money. They probably created it from there. And I'm looking past the money. I'm looking at systems with this, scalability with this. How do we build freedom funnels? You guys, we started those last year. How do we actually build one funnel that they can rely on all the time? It's this PDF that you drop in a meetup group, this PDF that you drop in a stage talk, this PDF you drop on an on-demand show, whatever. Like, what's the first thing that people drop? And then from there, where are they going? And it should be fitting into an ascension plan. So we're going to talk about that. But I want to start with this. There's this woman here in Puerto Rico. I just met her. And I saw that her microwave blew up. And if you guys know anything about me, I don't touch microwaves. There is no microwave that I will ever put my food in, right? And so I see in a WhatsApp chat, this woman's like, there was a power surge and my microwave blew out. And I was like, I have one in the house I bought because everything in Puerto Rico comes furnished, right? I'm like, I have one in the house I bought, you can have it, right? And then I have my kitchen's being remodeled and I think one of the things is a microwave. I don't know. I don't do much in the kitchen, so I've never opened it. But I think I have a microwave in the kitchen. I'm not joking. I actually don't know. As much as when I asked Sarah Blakely from Spanx, do you have an email list? And she went, I don't know. Let me check. I'm like, no, I know you do because I'm on it. I've bought leggings from you, right? Like I'm on it. I know you have one. And then she's like, oh yeah, we have a really big one, right? And so, my point is that, there are things that you just don't need to know. And the people who do know either are playing that role or love to cook in my case. So I told this woman she can come over and check out my microwave and she can have it, take it. As long as I've got another appliance to fit in that hole and it looks pretty to me, you can take it. I don't care, right? So she comes over and we're talking. And when you meet that person that you feel like there's like a puzzle fit? Do you know what I mean? Like, it's almost like a familiarity. Like, I feel like I already know you. One of the things she said that, I said to our advisors a few years ago is she said, we moved to Puerto Rico. We own a farm in Texas. And she thinks there's 3 things that are important in life other than family, obviously: God, guns, and farms. Of course she's from Texas, right? Like, of course she's from Texas, right? And so we're chatting and she says, my husband and I have worked so hard. We deserve this life. She goes, we deserve this life. And she goes, the lots are smaller on the farm. We work really hard. She goes, we spent our life investing in oil fields and real estate. And our whole life is built on passive income. So we actually can just slow down and stop. And she still works, but you could tell that it was like, she's working because she's 60. She's incredibly fit. I asked her, how are you so fit? She goes, I only eat out probably 5 or 6 times a year. Everything we put in our body is from our farm, and there's just nothing in it, right? And of course, my husband's like, how do we get on the distribution list? Telling you, who you know really matters. What neighborhood you live in really matters. I'm hoping I can make a difference in your annual plan, because you need to be able to afford to get into the right neighborhoods. You need to be able to get into the right neighborhoods and make yourself afford it. Do you guys hear what I'm saying? Like, because you shouldn't be living at the level in which you can earn income. You need to find a way to generate income for the areas, the places, the things that you're going. And the longer the runway is to get there, the more wins you need, like small wins you need. Otherwise, you will abandon ship. Okay. So currently in my life, I'm in a position where, based on the average Joe Blow, which I am not, I have never had a plan on being average or normal, but the average person is trying to retire in about 7 years from the age I'm at now. Right. And I said to Ash, I said, even though we're not retiring, let's pretend like we are. Let's pretend like we are. Every investment has to work. Every this has to pay passive income. You get what I'm saying? And let's start having weekly planning sessions, which I think he wants to pull out his teeth. Pretty sure he doesn't want to do this with me, but we're doing weekly planning sessions because I want it to be as important as tracking my income, as important as tracking my dates, as important as tracking my weight or my workouts. Do you guys hear what I'm saying? Yes? Like, you need to track those big nuggets. So I'm going to end on this and go into these plans. And Zena, I'm going to take you up first. The younger you are, the more you can start acting older, the smarter the game's going to be for you. You know what I mean? The worst thing anybody ever did to us is tell us, you got time. You're young, you got time. That is the worst thing that anybody ever said to us, in my opinion, because I wish I would have started passive income at about 25 when I got the bug to really become an entrepreneur, right? When I got that bug, I wish I would have put every dollar instead of into single family homes. I wish I would have moved to Puerto Rico earlier. I wish I would have had friends doing passive income. I wish I would have hung out with people that I was comfortable with. I wish I would have hung out with people who intimidated the crap out of me. Because the truth is there's 25-year-olds that have created much more freedom than I've created in my 40s. Do you guys get what I'm saying? Because their parents put them in the right seminars, the right workshops. Why do you think my kid is going to be going to YouTube seminars this year? The guys he loves, he reminds me every week almost that they have more followers than me, that they got more subscribers than me. I'm like, hey, what about Team Sumter Gandahari over here? Like, what about family team here? And he's like, no, mom, like, it's time. And I'm like, I love that. Right? Okay, you guys ready? You ready to stop being comfortable? You ready to start poking some holes in these plans? If you're watching on social media right now, please do us a favor and share the live. Share the live, tell people why they should watch this, and I think there's massive reciprocity when we hook people up and we think about them. So don't just share the live, say something. If you are in business, watch this to make sure you're working a smart plan. All right, let's pull Zena up, please. Hi.
Hi, Shanda. First of all, thank you so much for doing these on-demand lives. They've made a huge difference for me, and I'm sure I can speak to other people in the community here that it's made a huge difference for everyone as well. So thank you for the opportunity to
You're
be here.
welcome.
Thank you so much.
You're
So,
welcome. You're
so
welcome.
I have a question about my annual plan. I would like some clarity on. One of my visions is to, and this is something I had worked with Ash on. I did a VIP day with him last year, and we worked out a plan where enrolling 200 people in a group program, 200 people at 5K price point. So that's a seven-figure revenue target is what I'm committed to for this year, 2024. What my question
My husband has this thing like raising so high that I'm like, holy cow.
I love Ash. She's great. So my target, I'm very clear on my target with the coaching, right?
Let's
So
do
it's
200 people.
200 people at a 5K group coaching offer that is for 12 months. So it's low ticket, not even like a high ticket. So
Yes,
volume
no,
is my focus. Go ahead.
Pager did that offer and crushed it, did like 7 or 8 million bucks off of it. Okay. And he didn't know how to do live events. He didn't know how to do any of that. Right. And so he just basically did challenge after challenge after challenge after he did something like, I can't remember how many challenges, but like 16 of them in a year, like a lot. Right. And I think there's 12 months in a year. And on those challenges, he sold a live event. He did a 3-day event. He sold a $5,000 year-long mastermind. That obviously in the industry, in any sort of coaching or advice, $5,000 for an entire year is dirt cheap. And people know it. They don't have to be a rock star to know that. Right. And so it's a really easy price point to sell volume in. Does that make sense?
100%.
Secondly, remember when I started my business, it was me, Gene Bills, and Chris Britton. And they were both clients of mine. And I brought them in because they knew me really well. They did quite well with my work, and they became my sales team. And so in 90 days, we would sell that amount of people into a $7,500 program at that time, right?
Okay.
It was the original Pace Club.
Yeah, yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So I wouldn't give yourself all year to do that. I would just be like, okay, like, I mean, my list was probably at that time, I mean, I'm guessing now, but I bet somewhere between 4 and 5,500 people.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Does that make sense? So to give you
No,
some
okay.
perspective. And
Okay.
all I did was every week, I didn't even influence like I do on this on demand. Every week, I sent out 2 emails. I sent out an email on Monday that was like a content email, a coaching email, an inspiration email, a how-to email, and I probably had 18 spelling mistakes in it because I didn't have anybody editing, and I got called out on that all the time on my list. My point is like, think about how far I've come and what type of results we were getting at that time, right? And so I sent out a content email Monday, and every Wednesday, I think it was every Wednesday, Tuesday or Wednesday, I sent out a email that was a paragraph that went to their calendar. Does that make sense? And every day when I went to Starbucks at the time, I don't drink Starbucks anymore, but I went to Starbucks every morning driving to Del Mar, right? I would have them on speaker and I would have a 15-minute, 20-minute powwow with them. And this is what it looked like. What's the goal for today? What is getting in the way of people enrolling? And they would tell me, and I would give them new positioning. So I want you to know something, y'all. When I talked yesterday, if you were on yesterday, about like number 2 was being relentless, the backstory, right? Knowing there's a way. I never believe that the customer, the client is right. And the second thing I never do, I'll explain what I mean by that. The second thing that I do is I never buy into the fact that the customer is wrong. And what I mean by that is some of you guys go, oh, they have no money. It is much better for you to say that you suck. And you're going to get better today. Because if you say they have no money, you have already waved the surrender flag. You don't have the ability to lead it. So if you hear yourself complaining about the client, like the client sucks, or they got no money, or they're unmotivated, or you're in trouble, because you're gonna bleed this year in a way that you're gonna bleed time, and you're gonna keep having an excuse like that. Because what it is a lack of vulnerability or humility that you are the problem. Okay, now the flip side is I never believe the client. So when the clients, I'm listening to the objection. Make sense? And if the objection is, I don't have money, I don't have money, I don't have money, then really what I'm hearing is I'm not spending enough time laying out the value of the program, right? Like you've been with me for a long time.
Yeah.
And so like, I get like, what do you think the value of Mentor Me Live is?
Lots. So community, brainstorming, a bunch of other stuff like strategies, monetization strategies.
So
All these
how's
things.
it kind of helped you when you've been stuck? When you've been stuck, think about somebody or a situation or whatever that has had you get through that and become the type of producer you are.
helped me with I would say leadership has been the biggest component in my experience, because leadership for me was a game changer ultimately, because the
Yeah,
tactics or the strategies are there, but without leadership, in my experience, nothing works. So for me, my breakthrough was leadership. So
yeah.
that was the
And
breakthrough.
just so you know, everybody here, if anybody is interested in being in leadership, we have a fire sale that we're actually starting today, our flash sale. If you go to join HCL, somebody put it in the chat, joinhclnow.com. Hopefully the page is up. Joinhclnow.com. There are two options to jump into HCL. It's a 4-month program. Thanks, you guys. It's a 4-month program. There's option one, which you can get into HCL for, I think it's like 46% off right now for $2,700. You will get Michael Strazzer's doing a marriage course on February 20th, virtually, a 1-day. You'll get that with it. And then you'll get my Style Flex selling, which is Ash and Michael. I put them together. If you don't know who Michael is, he's honestly the best leadership trainer I've ever met in my life. Okay, Tony Robbins is extraordinary. The problem is the courses are so big that it's impossible for everybody in the room to get hit, right? And our rooms are small and they're capped. But Michael and Ash did a Style Flex selling. How do you land your communication with any quadrant and be able to enroll them? You guys get what I'm saying? So on option one for $2,700 on the pay in full, you get the marriage workshop and you get the Style Flex selling workshop, which you can study today and put yourself into making money now. If you need a payment plan, you'll see option two, there's a payment plan there. So, it was great that you said that because it jogged my memory. I was going to drop it tomorrow, but hopefully they have the page up, you guys. But joinhclnow.com. You won't be able to get in. Well, actually, there's a class starting, I think, this week or next week. Next week, there's a class starting. After that, it's March. You can go and I don't know if they have space in this one, but March, if you don't do the one in March, you will be in the third quarter of next year before you get help because it's a 4-month program. So now's really the urgent moment to jump into something like that. Okay. So when I said that to you, obviously I didn't know you would say leadership, but when I said that to you, you know the value. And notice that nothing she said was there's 3 calls a month or 4 calls a month or 2 workshops or 2 coaching sessions a month. None of that. You all do that all the time. You give all your bullets to what's in the program and you actually wonder why people have a money issue with buying from you. That's why. People buy on emotions, which means that's why I asked Zena, when you've been stuck, what's happened? What's helped you? And she's like, 100%. She didn't even go to a person. She went to a program. And when I did that, I got self-empowered to solve my own problems. Joinhclnow.com. Do you guys get what I'm saying? So everybody needs to write that down, because when you hear yourself talking about the details of your product, program, service, your life insurance, this, that, and the other, the bullets, all these bullets, your network marketing company and the close, right? It's like you're not doing anybody a service. You're being a really bad salesperson. And that's why you have money objections, because the human spirit will overcome any obstacle when we're motivated. You guys agree with that, right? There's no way that our spirit is limited. There's no way. And there's absolutely no problem that you have that somebody hasn't solved. So boss up and take responsibility. Okay. So now when I look at your plan, and we'll base it out here, I honestly can tell you want 200 people at 5K.
Mhm.
Right? So and that comes to $1 million. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
I love that you know that. So there's your 7-figure plan. What's off the charts to me about you is that could be done in 90 days or 120 tops. So I would not let that, I would be onto something new after the summer. Right? So now what do you need to do that? You need to identify 2 people that know you, love you, and have great chemistry with you, right? So Chris Britton and Jean, when they used to do this with me, they were all in on me. You know what I mean? Like you could never tell and still couldn't tell either of those ladies that I was anything other than completely generous, loving, and smart and could help you win. You could not tell them. They've just, at that time, they had already won so well with me. Now they have all the history of looking back like the last, 12 years. They've been with me that long. Isn't that wild? So you need to identify 2 clients, or you need to get out there and go find 2 professional salespeople that really are closers. Okay, so why I like clients, and I think a lot of people in my industry will back me up on this, is clients tend to sell the best. They just do. So now all you need them for is this project. They work for 90 to 120 days with you, and then you need to back in how many leads. So I'm just going to try this out for a second. Okay, so 500, you're going to need 1,000 leads because 500 leads at 20%. Are you guys following me? 500 leads, so 500 calendar bookings or whatever. 500 leads or 500 people in an event. I don't know, but I want this done before the summer. Like I'm going to literally. I'm charging you $1,000 if you don't do this by the summer.
Oh shit. Okay.
And we will donate it. We will donate it to another charity. But you
get it done by the summer.
Okay. So
I got you.
You have to donate $1,000 to a charity if you don't do this by the summer.
Okay. All right. I'll do
I
this.
have your word. Do I have your
You have
word?
my word. I will do this. Yes.
People are like, I don't work well under pressure. I don't like that. Yeah, if you don't work well in pressure, you ain't gonna do anything in this world, right? Like what you have an authority complex if somebody just said that. Okay, so 500 leads at a 20% close for a salesperson, which means you need 500 people to get on a call. This equals 100 people on your game. So what you have to do is get a wall size Post-it, put 500 leads or put 1,000 leads. And honestly, out of those leads, probably 50% are not going to show up. So really you need 2,000 leads. Does that make sense to you guys? Yeah. So you got 2,000 leads. You want to set yourself up with real data. Now you're like 2,000 leads in 90 or 120. So it really comes down to you. So if you're like, now your head goes, so if I was going to get 2,000 leads, what would I do today? If I was going to have 2,000 leads, what would I do this week? If I was going to provide 2,000 leads, what does my schedule look like? Where am I speaking? Where am I, list building? Where am I? How generous am I being? Like, I need 2,000 leads because that's your responsibility. Right now, I will tell you, you generate 2,000 leads, that's 666 leads in a month, right? And you could 100% do this.
Yeah.
Okay, you can 100% do this, girl. Okay, so 2,000, if I could do this on whatever it was, like 4,000, 5,000 people on an email list, like you could, like I wasn't running traffic, right? And so 2,000 leads for 2 salespeople puts them in a really good spot. They're going to make money. Give them 20% of your 5K. And every time a payment goes through, they get 20% of that. And just have them work the project with you. And then they're done. They get paid. I mean, I wouldn't finance that all year, just FYI. I'd finance that over 4 months or 5 months. If you do 6 months, that's $833. And then it'll feel like how you see positioning comes out of me, right? How my brain works on how this hooks up the customer, right? So I litigate your risk by not having a year-long payment plan on $5,000. But I also, somebody's speaking in the background, Keith, but I also put the client in a position where half the year they're not going to have any overhead with you.
Yeah.
They're going to be paid off halfway through the year. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
They are listening.
Whoever's got background noise or has your line unmuted, could you mute it, please? So that's your plan. Okay, so do you want to talk about how to get those leads?
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah.
Okay, so how to get those leads is meetup.com.
Okay.
I want you to go to meetup.com and like literally go find people that either you can pay $50, $25, can come speak for, whether it's in person or it's not. You're gonna find a genre or two that you do really well, going and doing a 30-minute or 15-minute talk or 20-minute talk on something very specific.
Okay.
Right? And so just whatever's going to help them. You're going to be able to repeat the same talk over and over and over again. And then you're going to drop either a PDF that helps them, and the second page is going to gift them a call.
Okay.
Okay? And so, and anybody who doesn't book the call, you will have gotten their phone number and your team's going to outbound.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, got it?
Yep.
In addition, every week, you're going to have at least one time a week that you are going to lead gen the calendar booking. It's best to pick specific things.
What do you mean by lead gen calendar booking?
So like to get on the phone and talk with you or talk with
Oh,
your
got
team.
it. Okay, got it. Okay, lead gen.
Right?
Okay. Okay.
So, because you've already got a list and you could, as long as, see you guys, when I'm going live like this, I'm providing value for you, right? Like how many of you guys have an interest in joining HCL? Put HCL in the chat. You have an interest, whether you did it or didn't, you have an interest, put HCL in the chat, right? And so the reason why I share that with you is because like I actually did drop a link, joinhclnow.com, right? I did drop a link. A lot of times I don't drop a link. If I'm doing a phone call with you, what do you think I'm going to do? I'm going to provide value. And if I have an offer to save your health or your life insurance or your business plan, whatever industry I'm in, I would be an awful person not to make that offer, right? Like you think about how many people struggle with their leadership and they're going to get the same freaking results this year because they're the same person they were last year, no matter how inspired they are or what their plan looks like. They need to go to joinhclnow.com, right? Like, so your calendar, I would prefer you look at whoever your team is and what huge value can they provide on a call. And those calls should be about 30 minutes tops. They provide the value, and then if they're a good fit, say, hey, I'm curious. Everybody should be writing this down. Hey, I'm curious, do you know about Zena's XYZ program? They're going to say no because it just came out. And they're going to say, well, I think you should do it, and here's why. And they should give their opinion. And their opinion should matter because it's not selling the bullets of the program. It's telling them what they just saw in the call with them on why this would fit. Do you guys hear what I'm saying? Yes, no, maybe so. Got it?
So good. So good.
Meetup.com Facebook groups. So now what I want you to be tracking is a metric. Keep this stupid simple. You should start today. Like you should be drinking a coffee or greens juice or whatever you do and flipping through Facebook for different fields that you do well speaking in and ask them if they could use some support with engagement in their Facebook group. And I'm not a marketing agency. I'm not trying to do that. I'm just saying, could you use some more content that's engaging with your group? They're going to say yes. Do you ever bring in outside speakers is also a great question. Do you ever bring in guest speakers to speak to your Facebook group? They're going to say yes. And when they do, then you ask them, what are some of the topics that your audience seems to really care about or like? They tell you, you pick one, it becomes your game. Okay?
So cool. Amazing. Yes, totally on. I love it. Thank you. Thank you
So
for this.
you're
Yeah.
welcome. If you work for me, I would want, I mean, Ash probably would want more than me, but I would want 40 outbounds a day.
40. Okay.
40 outbounds.
From the team, right? From my, right?
No,
Okay.
no, per person.
40 per person. Okay, got
Think
it.
about it. If I was like sitting here on my phone right now, I'm sure I could find, I'm sure I could find three while I'm just sitting here talking to you, you know. Yeah, there's a bunch.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Just boom, boom, boom. That is 33,000, 1,000, 14,000. I like some of the groups that have 10, 14, 30,000. Those little groups are great. Cool.
So good. Thank you. Can I ask one more question
Yeah,
related to this plan? And this involves savvy actually, because I do have a vision of creating passive income, which is what you talked about earlier
yeah,
in this model. So do you
yeah.
recommend that I do that after I hit this target or like because I'm considering adding it as part of my funnel, but I'm not sure how. You know what I
Oh
mean?
yeah,
Like,
you absolutely should. So okay, say you drop a PDF and on the next page has a calendar booking,
yeah.
right? Like, you know, um, first of all, you could send an email that says, welcome, I hope this helps. Here is the PDF that you just subscribed for. And PS, if you have an interest in creating passive income, I have an opportunity where you could become business partners in a fitness industry with me or in an all women's empowerment movement.
Hmm.
If that's interesting to you, then click here and let's talk.
Perfect.
Just let it be.
Okay, perfect.
And what you should always do is go back and at the end of every day, you should have a little meeting with yourself that says, check the calendar booking, because there's a lot of people who click and they start and they don't follow through. And those are amazing people to call and say, hey, Jennifer, I noticed that you started booking a call with me and something happened. I just thought I'd take a chance and see if I could get you on the phone. It's
Yeah.
Zena, right? Like, and they're like, oh yeah, the dog just pooped on the floor and I just had to stop and go clean up the poop. Like, it's wild, the stuff that happens, but they're never going back to the calendar link.
It's true.
Do you know what I mean? They're just not. They lose it and, they're human. Cool?
So good. Thank you so much. I'm excited. Thank you for the clarity and the
You're
simplicity.
welcome, girl. You're
Thank you.
welcome. Million by summer. Let's rock it. Natasha.
Hi, Shanda. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Okay.
Let me
All
close
right.
something. Everybody who just listened to me do that with Zena, I want you to write down what about that impacts your plan. Do you know what I mean? Are you giving yourself too much space to succeed? If you are, you have a high risk of it not working. Right? Like, what do you need to do to course correct? Write yourself a little note, and before you go to bed, make sure that you put a priority focus time, even if it's 20 minutes with you yourself, like a meeting, or you and a virtual assistant, or you and a spouse, or you and a friend, and get to an end success result of applying that. So you don't go into tomorrow, because it will get lost. It's like business cards that you reshuffle around your desk, and then they go to the corner of the kitchen, then they go to the table, and they remind you of all the things you're not doing is phoning those people. You know what I mean? Like, don't be irritating to your plan. Implement. Okay, what's your question?
Two-part question. One is a clarity on my stashing that I want to rinse and repeat every month. I know we talked about this slightly. And then the second one is I have like a division of business that's branching out from what I normally do, but it's related. I'm trying to see how I bridge the gap between them both. So if I do emotional intelligence, leadership, and change for high-performing women leaders, mainly corporate leaders or high-performing entrepreneurs, we run programs as well as
What's your
luxury
question?
lifestyle retreats. How do I bridge them both? Like, do I focus only on one area of business first, get the cash flow going, rinse and repeat, and then focus on the other one? Because my issue right now is, yeah.
So what's the first one again? I know the luxury
The first,
retreat.
yeah. The other one is running emotional intelligence, leadership, and change training, corporate training. We do group programs. There's a year-long mastermind.
Okay, so you got one or two things, y'all. Like, everybody needs to think about cash flow. Okay, like, you have to think about cash flow. And this is where people they get so caught up in, you're not getting caught up in this, but they get caught up on, they get caught up on wanting to do stuff they love, which I get is important, but you need to have cash, right? So what is your lowest hanging fruit?
Well, what I tend to do is partner, like Ash was bringing up yesterday. I go to places that already have big lists. So yesterday, for example,
That's how I started.
I went to private women's social clubs, or even like what's that? Said it yesterday. Social Spoke Club, the one that's global. They have social clubs, and I offer them something that they don't already have, like luxury leadership for women, luxury leadership experiences, awe-inspiring experiences. And they say, great. And I said, do you want to go in on a partnership? I don't want to come in as just a one-off and do a presentation and leave. I want to grow like a family with you and offer you something to the shared value here. So then I sort of jump into their list and then grow from there. So that's one way I've been doing it. Actually, that's the only way I've been doing it. I've never been advertising it, and I've never built a list until I met you. So now I'm in the process of building these stacks and wanting to rinse and repeat, but getting the first one clear so that I'm doing it right.
Get into their list, you should have something that somebody has to register for, so it goes into your list.
Yes,
Okay.
so I do. Yeah.
So then, so if that is, okay, so you got to double down. So now you start saying, if I was going to double down on that, what would I do? Okay, like Ash did this yesterday. I don't know if it'll probably come out in a training on his, but I went to sleep and I woke up and Ash was sitting in the bed with the computer. He's not allowed to do that, but he was sitting there on the computer and he's like working on all the stuff, right? So in Puerto Rico, it's like renovating could be a 3-year gig for real. Like it's, we left, we're going to come back to a finished house, not even close, right? Like not even close. And not just that, like drips on the paint, like, send the doors back out, and get them refinished. And so my husband is like kind of grabbed a hold of this and is, being intentional with it. And so he decided to order all of our appliances. And it's not easy to get like wool for Sub-Zero or anything here because you've got nobody that can actually service it. So now I gave you all of the problems, right? And so he sat and solved them all last night and saved us probably like $7,000, right? And so when I got up this morning, he's like, I am brilliant. He was like such a guy, such a husband, right? Like, I am so brilliant. Look at what I did, wife. I was like, good job, but I share this with you because like, you got to double down on what's working, right? You're going to have problems always, and you got to double down what's working. It sounds like you've got two genres. First of all, you've got the lists of other people, which I love. Other people's lists, I'll call it, instead of other people's money. And then you have these retreats, and I think you have them as if they're separate. And personally, honestly, you do not have to build with them like a family. You don't need to do that. That is a lot of commitment for them. I would leave that out. Like you don't need to oversell this. I would come in, do what you're doing here that is already working and double down, and then move these people here. And then here, make another offer. And so now you just work out your numbers, right? You say, what, like, Zena knows 200 people at $5,000. That's an easy price point. I happen to know she could sell that in 3 to 4 months tops. If she doesn't, she's filling up her calendar with distractions. She can be, if that becomes her main obsession between now and, the summer, she will hit $1 million by the summer, which means that what is she actually capable of? 2.
Right.
Really, based on how her leadership is thinking, she is actually capable of 2 million. And so her mindset is 50% less than what she actually can do. That is the power, by the way, of being in masterminds and being in proximity to people who already know. how to solve your problem, right? So now you just need to back in your number. This retreat, like whether you sell this retreat, I don't care if it's free. I don't care if it's one paid and the second free. I don't care if it's $97 or $9.97. You know why? Because the only place my mind goes to is from here, we have another offer. And this is really where she's going to do her best work, which is probably essentially what she's already training over here, the luxury leadership girls, right? So this is really where, so you're really doing the same thing.
Right. That's where I was like, I am, right? I'm not getting confused. They're the same market. I'm just kind of going back and forth between the two. Okay, so adding on to other people's lists is also me stacking and building my own leads every single month.
Awesome.
To keep it fresh. Yes.
So this, your speaking needs to be KPI.
Okay.
So it needs to be a monthly goal, and it's a non-negotiable. So it might look like this. I'm speaking at 5 places every month. Non-negotiable. So I'll give you an idea. I have 5 meetings a month, non-negotiable in Dorado Beach. I've had 1 this month. I've only been here for a week, but I said to Ash, I said, doesn't matter if I've only been here for a week. I'm almost 50% through the month. I need to get myself a gear. Do you guys get what I'm saying? I said that to Ash on the golf cart this morning, right? And I said to him, we went for a little coffee this morning, and I said to him, I've only had 1 meeting. I need 4 more. So whether that's playing around at golf, whether that's having breakfast, whether it's coffee or going for a walk, I need 4, 5 a month. I need 4 more. And it's a non-negotiable. If I have to do 4 in one day because I wait till the end of the month, then I go through the pain of that. Like, it's like, oh my gosh, I really want to be with my son and my husband. It's like, doesn't matter. I messed it up, not them. My kid's crying because he wants to spend time. He's like, yeah, but if I start breaking my word, who am I to him? I hate to say it, but a losing mother, and losing at raising the next generation to break their word. Do you guys get what I'm saying? So what would I do the next month? The next month I get my 5 sooner. Do you guys get what I'm saying? This is why I say whatever your month goals are should get done in 2 weeks. Got it? So even though I came into Puerto Rico not on the 1st of the month, I came in on the 6th. Are you guys hearing me? Like, this is what yesterday's training looks like applied to today. It is a non-negotiable, even if emotions rage anywhere else. Now I have time in with my son, so I wouldn't have that with him. But I know some of you guys don't have time in with the people that you love. And there's a deficit, and you make it even harder on yourself by not hitting your goals. So I want you to have, and you could up this, but I think if you had 5 speaking agreements in a month, whether that is on a webinar, in person, whatever, and whether you book that or somebody else books that, that's irrelevant to me. Just get it done. I need to be able to trust you as my client, that you will get this done. Okay, so 5 a month. Right? And you've been doing some pretty good end of day income, I've been seeing.
Yeah, mixed with some zeros, but I've been diminishing the zeros and upping it more. So yes. Yeah. And it's all because of this coaching. It's like immediate action. I literally get off these coaching calls, take immediate action. Otherwise, distractions come up and I won't do it. So that's what's been working.
So good. What's some of your end of day income this month that you got?
I had a 50,000 the other day because I just believed I had to practice my enrolling, and I did. And then I had 3,500 yesterday. I had a couple of zeros. I had 497 one day, but less zeros so far than last month and the month before. And so that's what I'm focusing on.
You guys, that's huge. I want like the reason why I want like our Meant to Be Live clients to share this stuff is because whether you're in that program or not, you could be doing the same thing that they're doing. And if you're in the program and you don't do end of day income, like, what are you doing? Like, I want you to go through the experience of putting 0 money today. I want you to go through that because it's there regardless on whether or not you post it. When you post it, it's like this, you know what, I just am tired of posting zero. And it's like the tracking sheet. You're like, I'll go make something. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then, so yes, I'm putting the pressure on. Pressure is a privilege. It means you've signed up to play a bigger game. Let's go. Okay. I don't just coach this stuff for my own health. Okay, so 5 speaking agreements a day, KPI this every month, right? And so and you can up that, like if you end up hiring somebody to do this, this could move to 15 every month. And you can start equating, if I pay somebody, $2,700 or $3,000 a month to book me, or even $5,000 a month to book me, and they book me on 15 1-hour spots, that means you got 15 hours a month. In speaking, how much of a difference would 15 make versus 5? Do you guys get what I'm saying? Start to think like, how do I make this work? Not how do, and how do I make this work is how do I get more consistent, right? So if you got 5 a month, you've got 60 in a year. Does that make sense? So I would every quarter, and I would be looking for either 2 major retreats a year that you're pushing into. And then you want to have a target here, like from here, is it like, I mean, first of all, the higher the price point, really the more money you make, and the less people you have to hire to help you. And so the more lean the company is, profitability. So I don't know what's going on in your life right now, but if profitability is key and low stress is key, then higher price points, less people working for you is great. So I think
I do have a leverage ladder that I've created for that. So 97, 297, 497, all the way up to $6,000. And then
I don't really care. I don't really care about that right now. Is if you have 40 people at 25,000, that's 1 million. And you will have a high profit margin on that. Okay. So
one thing before I go, on the, so you see how I brought in other people from the one side? I also now have this opportunity to bring in other people where they want to do it reverse. They want to do the retreats first. So I partnered up with a luxury retreat consortium to get their people. And now I've got people asking, forget about the education, I want the retreat first. So can I do it reverse where they're asking for high price point retreats.
You're getting it confused. Put the 2 retreats on a year, or if you have to put 4 retreats on, you put 4 retreats on. If they're filling some of them and you're filling some of them, it's great. This is all about the calendar. Where are the placeholders? Because it's not really one first than the other. You know what I mean? Like, it's at these retreats, you should be making this offer. And whether or not they're partnered in on this offer or not, I would be bullish on that. And if it's their retreat that they're doing and you're speaking at, and you're contributing, then she's blocked off. Then she should be selling a ticket to this retreat or gifting. Do you guys hear what I'm saying? So she can watch that after. Okay, let's go. Somebody I haven't seen for a while. Let me see. Lucia, I haven't seen you for a while.
Good morning, Shanda. Thank you for taking my question. I've really, really been enjoying your Shanda on Demands this year. They've been amazing. Yeah. So looking at my goals, my vision for this year, what I'm looking at right now is doing a summit every month with workshops on Thursday. My goal being getting 20 full price clients this year, which is like 2 a month.
Okay, 20 clients at what price?
Yeah.
20 clients at what price?
5,000. It's 6,000 paying. It's 6,000, but 5,000 paying full. So depending on how they do it.
So in pay in fulls, you guys notice on joinhclnow.com option one with the pay in full, add bonuses, right? Because like you guys can't buy that style flex selling. And it's 4 hours of sales training around quadrants. You won't find it anywhere in the world but with us. And it's awesome. I mean, it's the reason why I do so well. And that's why I literally put Ash and Michael together to train it, right? Because nobody had ever
Love
trained
that.
it. And then secondly, the marriage retreat on February 20th, right? Like, I mean, how do you put a value on that, right? Like everybody's paying to go to marriage counseling retreats. I'm giving it with the pay in full. I have to pay Michael. Do you know what I mean? Like, so it's not like it's like free for me. I have to pay Michael, and he's not cheap. You know what I mean? And so if you want more painfuls, you got to buck up. You got to really take care of people. So, okay, so at 6,000, that's 120 grand. Okay, so 100% you should be done this. I mean, you could do this in 30 days, but it should not take you more than 60 days. And no different, you need to become really focused on, you could do this alone.
Yeah,
Right? Like you
I
don't even
only
need a
have half
salesperson.
time available for business because of my full-time elder care. That's why I don't know if I
Yeah.
could do that short a timeline.
You've got to get the leadership of how do I do it? Because it like if you're going to have attrition on this. So maybe 3 of these people, like they go delinquent, right? They're leaders that don't do what it takes, and they have integrity breakdowns. They don't pay their bills, and they don't figure out how to pay their bills. And then they'll get pissed off at you that they made a commitment to you and they don't want to pay their bill anymore, right? Like people are wild, like absolutely wild, right? And so just why don't you bring on one salesperson that just works with you for the next 60 days, and you focus on your time on delivering either communication talks or things like that and adding value, and just drop the calendar.
Okay.
And here's some language. Here's some language for you. Do you feel like it would help if you could talk to us about XYZ? Right? Do you feel like it would help if somebody could talk to you about how to avoid diabetes? Do you think, you know what I mean? They say yes, or raise your hand, and they say yes, and then provide them the calendar link and get them help. And so this person needs to know, the salesperson needs to know how to help them. So whether or not they buy from you or not, they get the help, you deliver your integrity, and then obviously they're a good fit because you're lead genning them on the topic that you help them on, right? And so you can make them an offer. And there's your target, give your salesperson 20%. Now, by the way, we don't give 20% at hardcore, and the reason why we don't do that is we have larger volume. When I was smaller, I gave 20%, and my price points are smaller. Okay, so your price points are small, and you're only doing 20 people. And so this person at the very least can make 24,000, or the very most can make $24,000 working with you. Okay?
I like that.
Got
Thank
it?
you. That's very helpful.
You're welcome,
Thank you.
honey.
All righty.
So good. So now we'll pop Lucy off. I'm going to wrap up the live. We stayed on social and we stayed on Zoom. I don't have anything else to coach for today. So I'm going to end the Zoom and end the social. I need you guys to go look at your plans and don't be in the mentality of, I don't know what to do, I need to ask her a question. You're always welcome to go find me on Instagram and ask me a question. You're always welcome. I always I have friends that, empty their inboxes every night. I make sure that I empty my social boxes. And so on Instagram, Facebook, I cannot keep up with. It's a running wild horse. So much love to you guys. I will see you guys tomorrow on the On Demand Mastermind. I'm excited to see you. We will stream at 9 a.m. California time, 12 noon, Florida time, and 1 o'clock Atlantic Standard Time. All right, you guys, so much love to you. See you soon. Bye.